So I've been having a hard time trying to figure out how to be more disciplined, how to do the things that I know I need to do in order to be healthier. I tried to put in place mechanisms that would encourage me to make things happen. I listened to motivational videos. I found people that I felt like were good role models and tried to follow them. Listening to David Goggins' content, watching Eric the Hip Hop Preacher, and I still kept falling on my back. Like, regardless of how hard I tried, it seemed like I started to get the feeling that maybe I just wasn't disciplined enough, and maybe I'm just missing something, and maybe I'm lacking something. But I think I'm onto something. I think I found something that is actually making a difference, and I'm creating this video hoping that somebody else that feels the same way that I felt can pick up on this and use this to start making positive progress. My name is Taku. I'm a physician, and even though I haven't traditionally struggled with health in the way that we typically think of it, such as being hospitalized, being on multiple medications, I found myself in a state where I'm not at my ideal despite how much I know. So as I learn and as I grow in this process of wanting to be healthier, fitter, better version of myself, I figured that I should document this and share the knowledge that I'm gaining in this process. So what am I talking about regarding more optimal or a better way of making positive progress? I'm reading this book by BJ Fogg called Tiny Habits. And in this book, he addresses how we approach behavior change. In this book, he shares stuff that to me logically makes sense. Not being an expert in this field, I don't really know how strong the literature or how validated these things are. But sometimes in life, there are things that just make sense. Like, it makes sense to eat vegetables. We don't need studies to show that. It makes sense that you should exercise. I don't think we need extensive, expensive studies to show that. And one of the things that the author of this book talks about is how emotions, as opposed to discipline, are a better signal for seeking behavior change. So again, I'm paraphrasing, but what does this mean? The positive emotion that you get from doing something and making that small progress propels you to be more focused and more disciplined and to keep coming back to do the action than would the idea of being sheerly disciplined, using your own will in order to get it done. So I think running makes it for a good analogy regarding this. So if I run a mile and I view this as a win, I celebrate that I've done a mile, it makes me want to see if I can do a mile and a half. It makes me want to do 2 miles. And that continuing progress gives emotions that evoke the desire to want to do more, to want to grow. And this is drastically different from how, for the same behavior change, would translate. Discipline requires on sheer willpower. But if I view life as a video game where every positive action results in a positive emotion, right? Like, where if I do something, I get a win, I get the sensation of victory, I gain a sense of self-efficacy, so to speak. It makes it easier. It lowers the barrier, or it lowers my perceived challenge of what it takes to do a more challenging task, or what it takes to come back and do the same thing. My son is learning how to play the piano, and one of the things that he's really good at is just doing. Like, he is not scared to try. And as I've noticed him progress, I'm seeing that the pieces that he's learning to play, or the music theory that he's starting to understand, is a lot harder than what he would have been able to understand 2 weeks ago, a month ago. And the feeling that he gets from mastering something and the positive reward, internally or externally, seems like it makes it easier for him to want to practice, to want to come back, to see if he can play Ode to Joy a little bit better than he did last time, to share his victories. And I think that that's one thing that we lack as we get older. We're not as good at celebrating our small wins. And so I'm trying to be more intentional with this regarding my health. I'm not where I want to be, and it's frustrating being as unfit and as far away from my goals now as I am. But what I'm realizing that it takes action, small actions and repeated actions, and that I need to be viewing these actions as a win, as opposed to directly comparing, oh, well, I only bench this amount. I used to be able to bench that much, or I should be benching this much. So as I tell my patients often, that, you know, if we don't do something now, the person that we're gonna be in 6 months, in a year from now, and 2 years from now is gonna be worse. So whether it's being disciplined, or whether it's prioritizing small actions and celebrating those wins, and, you know, falling in love and growing off of those positive emotions, I realized that I need to start taking action. Your body doesn't adapt to actions you plan. It only adapts to actions that you take. And I challenge you to do the same thing this week. Pick one thing, decide to start, make it small, not challenging. Don't compare yourself to where you were, where you want to be, the person next to you, the person online. Do one small thing that you know you should do, and keep doing it.